They say pressure makes diamonds. Well, today we'll see which of these young minds will shine the brightest. This is the stage where quick thinking meets deep knowledge, where words and numbers become weapons, and only the sharpest minds will rise. Welcome to Cowbellpedia 2025.
Stakes, same intense competition. The elimination rounds put 48 of the sharpest young minds to the test. And after all the tension, triumphs, and tough exits, the quarterfinals are finally here. Today, the first 12 quarterfinalists, 6 each from the junior and senior category, are stepping into the arena ready to go head-to-head in 3 heated rounds. Now, the real test begins. Only the best 4 will make it to the semi-finals. Get ready for pure, unfiltered genius.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell with Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, geniuses and mega minds, welcome to the most brain-powered and most educative quiz show in Nigeria. I'm your host, Linda Ejiofor Suleiman, and I am absolutely buzzing because it's Cowbellpedia 2025 quarterfinals. Yes, that's right. 48 of the brightest young minds have fought their way here, proving they've got the speed, strategy, and sheer brilliance to stay in the game. But now it's a whole new level of heat. For the quarterfinals, each category has 6 contestants for every episode, and they'll be battling it out in 3 fire rounds: 60 seconds of fame, questions from the Cowbell Pedia Bank, and zone of power. At the end of these intense rounds, only 2 will punch their tickets to the semi-finals. And trust me, this isn't just about bragging rights. It's about walking away with 5 million and a once-in-a-lifetime educational trip to Kenya. Our runner-up will be left out with 3 million naira, 2 million naira, and 500,000 naira up for grabs. Now, here with me are 6 brilliant junior secondary contestants, prepped, pumped, and ready to light up that stage. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's hear it straight from them.
I feel very confident.
I love it. And you?
I feel great.
Great. And you?
I feel very excited.
Excited. And you?
I feel good.
Feel good. And you?
I feel great.
Feel great.
I'm feeling pretty hungry for that prize.
Yep. I love it. Feeling pretty hungry for that prize. Guys, that's what I love to hear. Now, go up onto that stage and shake that scoreboard, okay?
Thank you very much, Linda. You know I'm definitely ready. All right, once again, welcome to the Cowbellpedia quarterfinals. My name is Ebuka Obiuchandu, your quiz master, and guys, this is where the competition gets thicker, tougher, and of course, more exciting. We have 3 intense rounds ahead of us: 60 seconds of fame, questions from the Cowbell Pedia Bank, and the zone of power. 6 contestants will start, but only 2 will make it to the semi-finals. No need for long talk. Let's get this show on the road. Make some noise for our 6 contestants. Let's meet you guys once again.
Hi everyone, my name is Akparado Halel. I'm from Greater International School and I speak French.
Hi, my name is Ediana and I'm from Greater International School and I'm the best.
Hi, my name is Oyekale Abalolu. I'm from Ambassador College. I like playing.
Hi, my name is Ayola Oladayo. I'm from App Scholars Universal College and I love reading novels. Hello everyone, my name is Onyema Alexis. I am from Cowbell International School and I like reading novels.
Hi everyone, my name is Aaron Valentine. I'm from Secondary College and it feels good to be here.
Feels good to be here indeed. Good luck to all of you, because we're starting off immediately with 60 seconds of fame. And here's a reminder of how the game works.
60 Seconds of Fame is a battle where every contestant is on their own. 6 contestants step into the spotlight, each with just 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. At the end of this round, the contestant with the lowest point will be eliminated, leaving 5 to continue their quest for victory.
All right, guys, let's play 60 Seconds of Fame. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. Simplify minus 3 squared plus 4 cubed. A 9, B 55, C 64, D 73.
D.
That is correct. Next question, find the perimeter of a regular hexagon with
B.
side length. That is correct. Next question, which of these is not a type of microorganism? A bacteria, B virus. That is correct. Next question, in a debate about a controversial topic, which approach shows the most ethical reasoning? A, speak as loudly as possible to drown others out.
B.
That is correct. Next question, personal responsibility means what? A, blaming others, B, accepting consequences of actions. That is correct. Next question, which of the following statement is an opinion rather than a fact? A, Lagos is in Nigeria. That is correct. Personal adaptability means what? A, resisting change, B, adjusting to new situations. That is correct. If AB equals 2, 3, and BC equals 4, 5, find AC. That is incorrect. The study of hereditary and variation is called A, ecology. That is correct. A shopkeeper buys 12 dozen eggs of 15 naira per dozen. That is incorrect. 80. Next up is Odigenan. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. A triangle has sides of length 25 centimeters, 39 cm, and 56 cm. What is the radius of the circumscribed circle? That is incorrect. Next question. Find the value of x if log 4x equals 3 over 2.
C.
A, 6, B, 8. That is incorrect. Next question. Which organ is primarily responsible for detoxification? A, kidneys, B, liver, C, pancreas. That is incorrect. Next question. 3 friends divide 900 naira such that the first gets half of what? The second and third get together. That is incorrect. Sustainable living requires what? A, maximizing resource consumption, B, minimizing. That is incorrect. Next question. Read the passage and answer. Although it was raining heavily, Amina went to school because she had an important exam. What can be inferred from this passage? A, Amina enjoys going to school. That is correct. Next question. Which gas is responsible for the greenhouse effect? A, oxygen, B, nitrogen. That is correct. Find the value of sine 45 degrees multiplied by cos 45 degrees. That is correct. Which mineral is crucial for bone health? A, iron, B, calcium. That is correct. In a game where 2 players take turns removing 1, 2, or 3 stones from a part, that is incorrect. The primary goal of 40 points. Next up is Obaloluwa. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. What is the supplement of a 35-degree angle? A, 55 degrees, B, 65, C, 125, D, 145.
C.
That is incorrect. The sum of the first n terms of the series 2, 4, 6 is 210. Find the value of n. A, 8, B, 14, C, 16, D, 25.
D.
That is incorrect. Next question. The primary source of omega-3 fatty acids is A, red meat, B, dairy products, C, fish, D, eggs.
C.
That is correct. Next question. The sum of the series 5 plus 10 plus 15 plus dash plus 100
C.
is... That is correct. Next question. Global citizenship involves A, limiting international interactions, B, understanding global interconnectedness, C, creating national barriers, D, avoiding... That is correct. Identify the word that is not a member of the same word family. A, happy, B, happiness. That is correct. Which vitamin is an antioxidant? A, vitamin B12, B, vitamin D, C, vitamin C, D, vitamin K. That is incorrect. A man travels 300 kilometers by car. For the first 120 kilometers, his speed is 60 kilometers. 40. With 3 contestants to go, we'll find out if you can still make it, all right? So keep your spirits up. And next up is Valentine. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. And your time starts now. Find the value of 0.1 cube plus 0.01 square. A 0.001, B 0.0011. That is incorrect. Next question. If fx equals x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 4, find f.
C.
A0, B2, C4, D6. That is incorrect. Give me a verbal response. Which of the following is an example of a carnivorous plant? A sunflower. That is correct. 3 bells ring at intervals of 6, 8, and 12 seconds respectively. They ring together at 9 a.m. When will they next ring together? A 9:01.02 a.m. B 9. That is incorrect. The value of lifelong learning is what? A stopping education after school. B continuously acquiring new knowledge. C avoiding personal growth. D creating limitations. That is correct. Every morning I wake up at 6 a.m., eat breakfast, and walk to school. This sentence pattern is A cause and effect. B chronological sequence. That is correct. Solve for x in the inequality 2x minus 3 is greater than 7 or 3x plus 2. That is incorrect. Two-thread die a roll. What is the probability that the sum of the numbers is at least 10? 40 points. Next up is Alexis. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. A rod of length 20 centimeters rests on the coordinate axis. That is incorrect. Next question. Simplify 3 plus 2i minus 4 minus 5i. A minus 1 plus 7i. That is incorrect. Which part of the brain controls involuntary actions? A cerebrum, B, cerebellum, C. That is incorrect. Next question. Your local government is proposing a new law that would benefit you but harm disadvantaged groups. What position demonstrates ethical citizenship? A support the law since it benefits you. That is incorrect. The concept of social entrepreneurship involves what? A maximizing profits. B addressing. That is incorrect. What does the prefix pre mean? A after, B between. That is correct. The value of social innovation is A maintaining existing structures, B creating solutions to social challenges, C avoiding social change. That is correct. A community has limited vaccine doses during an outbreak. Who should receive vaccines first? A the wealthiest, B the most vulnerable. That is correct. Which of these is an oxidizing agent? A hydrogen, B oxygen, C nitrogen. That is correct. A tech company discovers this program can be misused in harmful ways. What would be the most responsible action? That is incorrect. Personal empowerment involves A depending. That is correct. 50 points. All right, so during the elimination stage, at 60 seconds of fame, 2 contestants were eliminated. But in the quarterfinals, only 1 person will be eliminated. So let's take a look at the leaderboard so far. We have Halel at 80 points, Alexis at 50, and then a 3-way tie for 40 between Odeyenan, Obaloluwa, and Valentine. So we'll have just 1 more contestant to go to see who's going to survive and who will not make it. Oladayo, how are you doing?
I'm feeling great, sir.
Good luck. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. What is the coefficient when 6 cubed minus 4x squared plus 3? That is incorrect. Express 0.272727 as a fraction in its simplest form. That is incorrect. Which of these is a noble gas? A hydrogen, B oxygen, C neon. That is correct. A shop attendant gives you too much change. What should you do? A, keep the extra money since it's your mistake. B, points out the error and return the excess. That is correct. The primary goal of global cooperation is what? Creating international tensions. B, addressing global challenges collectively. That is correct. Read the passage. The ancient Romans built roads that connected their vast. That is correct. What value of a cone is 154 centimeters cubed with the radius of its base? That is incorrect. The sum of the first n natural numbers is 1, 2, 2, 5. What is the value of n? A 2 over 3. That is incorrect. The process of DNA replication occurs during a meiosis. That is incorrect. Your school is holding a food drive for people in need. Which approach demonstrates the most ethical thinking? A, ignore it since it's. That is correct. Sustainable social development means A, maintaining existing inequalities, B, promoting inclusive and equitable progress. That is correct. Finally, some of the series. 60 points. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. We have 3 automatic qualifiers already. That's Halel, Oladayo, and Alexis. They are going through to the next round automatically. Round of applause for them. But we have a 3-way tie with Odeyenan, Obaloluwa, and Valentine with 40 points. So we're going to play a game of fastest fingers so that 2 can join the 3 who have qualified already, and 1 of them will be eliminated. Good luck. Here's your question. The tangent lines to the parabola y square equals 4ax at the points A and 2a and 4a, 4a intersect at the point of what? A, 0a, B, a, 0, C, 2a minus 4a, D, 4a minus 2a. The correct answer is C. Well, it looks like we have our qualifiers. Congratulations, Odiginan and Valentine. So that brings our total number of qualifiers to 5. Hallel, Oladayo, Alexis, Valentine, and Odiginan are through. Unfortunately, this is goodbye to Obaloluwa. Please put your hands together for him. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for questions from the Cowbell Pedia Bank.
In a world filled with many wrecked robots, it's up to architect Bisola and builder Brian to rebuild the city.
We'll need some help. Let's get up and go! We'll start with the foundation. They bear the biggest load.
Wow, numbers are powerful.
We use them to measure and build.
You'll need more Cowbell Choco to complete your mission.
To get up and go, give them Cowbell Choco.
Welcome back to your favorite TV game show, Cowbellpedia, proudly brought to you by Cowbell. We're still in the quarterfinals. Started off with 6 contestants, but now we're down to 5 after 60 seconds of fame. Now, this is the second round, and it's all about quick thinking and even quicker buzzing. Welcome to questions from the Cowbellpedia Bank.
In this round, questions from the Cowbellpedia Bank, 6 contestants play, carrying over their hard-earned points from the last round. The quizmaster will ask 12 questions, and the first contestant to hit the buzzer gets the chance to answer. A correct response earns 10 points, but a wrong answer costs 5 points from their total. At the end of this round, only 4 contestants will move on to the quarterfinals, while 2 will be eliminated. It is a game of precision and strategy. Only the sharpest will advance.
Good luck. Let's play questions from the Cowbellpedia Bank. Here are your questions. Which of the following is a perfect square? Oladayo? That is correct. Next question. Simplify. Odiginan?
A.
That is correct. Next question. Which vitamin is produced by Odiginan?
C.
Correct. Personal social responsibility involves A, focusing only, Odiginan?
B.
That is correct. Next question. Find the derivative of fx, Hallel?
A.
That is correct. Next question. Find the sum of the first 4 terms of the geometric sequence with first term 3 and common ratio 2, A 45, B 30, C 15, D 60. Nobody got that one? Correct answer was A. Next question. The genetic material in most organisms, Oladayo?
B.
That is correct. Next question. The concept of global Odiginan?
B.
That is correct. What is the Hello?
B.
That is incorrect. 2 trains leave stations A and B, Valentine? That is incorrect. Which process involves the transfer of genetic material, Alexis?
A.
That is incorrect. The primary goal of Hallel?
B.
That is correct. Okay, that's the end of questions from the Cowbellpedia Bank. And there's your leaderboard. Hallel with 95 points. Oladayo and Odiginan with 80 points. And then Alexis with 45 points. And sadly here we say goodbye to Valentine with 35 points. A round of applause for him. Thank you very much for your run on the show so far.
No sad faces, no long faces, no low energy here. So shake it off and own the moment like the rock star that you are, okay?
Okay.
Okay? In fact, I need to say this after me. I challenged myself, I had fun, and I live with no regrets.
I challenged myself, I had fun, and I live with no regrets.
Love it, love it.
So we're going to be moving moving on to the next round with our 4 contestants, and we'll find out which 2 of them will make it to the semi-finals. We'll see you after this.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell with Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
Welcome back to Cowbellpedia, brought to you by the one and only Cowbell. Now, before the break, we had to say goodbye to one contestant after another heated session in questions from the Cowbell Pedia Bank. But this is it, the final round of the quarterfinals. We're down to just 4 contestants, and when this round is over, only 2 will remain and move on to the semi-finals. We have a brand new game. Here is the Zone of Power.
In this round called Zone of Power, each of our 4 contestants will take turns selecting a subject category, and a question will be assigned to one of their opponents. The host reads the question and the contestant has 20 seconds to answer. A correct answer earns 20 points, while an incorrect one deducts 10 points. At the end of this round, only 2 contestants will advance to the semi-finals, while the 2 lowest scorers will bid farewell to the competition.
Okay, let's step into the Zone of Power. Hello, how are you?
I'm feeling fine.
We're going to show you 4 categories, and you have to pick one category for each contestant, all right? Here are the categories. Sure. Mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, and strategy and puzzle. Which category do you want to pick for Odiyinan?
Science and computer.
All right, Odiyinan, are you ready? Here is your question. Which of these cell organelles contains its own DNA?
C.
Let's see what the correct answer is. C. So for Alexis, mathematics, general knowledge, or strategy and puzzle?
Puzzles and strategy.
Puzzles and strategy for Alexis. You have 15 seconds to answer. Here is your question. A man in a car sees a golden door, a silver door, and a bronze door. Which door does he open first? The silver door. Let's see what the correct answer is. D, the car door. Let's see what category you choose for Oladayo between mathematics and general knowledge.
General knowledge.
You think general knowledge is going to be hard for him? Okay. Let's see your question, Oladayo. The Nigerian who invented a device that can detect explosives and cancer cells is who? A. Oshiagabi, B. Samuel Achilefu, C. Ndubuisi Ekekwe, D. Charles Onu.
C.
Oladayo says C. Ndubuisi Ekekwe. Well, let's see what the correct answer is. A. Oshiagabi. All right, so you got 1 out of 3. For your fellow contestants. Very well done. Your hands together for Hallel. And standing next to the Zone of Power is Odiyinan. Okay, let's see the categories. Mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, strategy and puzzle. What does Alexis get?
Strategy and puzzle.
Strategy and puzzle again for Alexis. Well, let's see what your question is. What makes more sense the less you think about it? A, nonsense, B, dreams, C, magic, D, illusions.
A.
Let's see what the correct answer is. A, nonsense. Strategy and puzzle is out. We have mathematics, science and computer, and general knowledge.
Science and computer.
Science and computer for Oladayo. Oladayo, here's your question. The first modern computer was called what? A, UNIVAC, B, ENIAC, C, EDVAC, D, IBM 650.
B.
Well, let's see what the correct answer is. B, ENIAC. All right, so you have two categories left, mathematics and general knowledge. What does Hallel get?
Mathematics.
Mathematics for Hallel. Hallel, are you ready? Here is your question. Simplify 3x raised to power 2y raised to power 3 divided by 9xy raised to power 2. Let's see what the correct answer is. B is the correct answer. And next in the zone of power is Alexis. Alexis, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, let's see the categories. Mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, strategy and puzzle.
Strategy and puzzle.
Strategy and puzzle for Oladayo. Oladayo, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's see your question. If 3 peacocks lay 3 eggs in 3 days, how many eggs will 6 peacocks lay in 6 days? Let's see what the correct answer is. D is the correct answer. That's exactly why it is. It's a puzzle. The answer is not always what you think it is. Strategy and puzzle off the board. We're left with mathematics, science and computer, as well as general knowledge. Alexis, what does Hallel get?
General knowledge.
General knowledge for Hallel. Here's your question. The ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter is called? Let's see what the correct answer is. A is the answer. Now we're left with mathematics as well as science and computer. Odiginan, what does she get?
Science and computer.
Science and computer for Odiginan. Are you ready, Odiginan?
Yes, sir.
Here's your question. What is the pH of a solution with the hydrogen ion concentration of 1 multiplied by 10 raised to power 9?
D.
Let's see what the correct answer is. The answer there is C9 on the board. Alexis 40, Oladayo 30, Hallel and Odiginan with 10 points. Very well played. Your hands together for Alexis. And next in the zone of power is Oladayo. Let's see the categories. Mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, strategy and puzzle. Hallel, what does he get?
Science and computer.
Science and computer for Hallel. Here is your question. Which blood vessel carries deoxygenated blood from the body to the right atrium of the heart? Let's see what the correct answer is. C is the correct answer. Okay, 3 categories left. Odiginan is your next contestant. Mathematics, general knowledge, strategy, and puzzle. What does she get?
General knowledge.
General knowledge for Odiginan. Here's your question. The famous mathematician Constant E, Euler's number is approximately equal to what?
B.
Let's see what the correct answer is. A is the correct answer. Final contestant, Alexis. Mathematics or strategy and puzzle? What does she get?
Maths.
Mathematics for Alexis and 40 points. Here is your question. In a right angle triangle, if one of the acute angles is 32 degrees, what is the value of the other acute angle?
A.
Let's see if she's correct. A is the answer. Okay, very well played, Oladayo. That brings us to the end of Zone of Power. We have an automatic qualifier to the semifinals. Alexis! And we're going to say goodbye to Odiginan. But we need one more qualifier for the semifinals, and we have a tie between Hallel and Oladayo, both on 30 points. All right, Hallel and Oladayo, you know what the rules are. The person with the correct answer in the fastest time automatically joins Alexis in the semifinals. For fastest fingers, here is your question. Find all values of x for which the series n equals 1 to infinity, x minus 2 raised to power n over n converges. A, 1 is less than x is less than 3. B, 1 is less or equals to x is less than 3. C, 1 is less than x is less or equals to 3. D, 1 is less or equals to x is less or equals 3. Lock in your answers. Hello, what was your answer?
A.
Oladayo, what was your answer?
B.
Okay, so it means one person is wrong. The correct answer is A. That means Hallel joins Alexis in the semifinals. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to Oladayo. Very well played to all of our contestants. And there you have it, our very first top 2 junior secondary contestants officially locking in their semi-final spots. What a round, but the action is not over yet though, because after the break, it will be time for our senior secondary contestants to step up and show their A game. You don't want to miss it.
In a world filled with many wrecked robots, it's up to architect Bisola and builder Brian to rebuild the city.
We'll need some help. Let's get up and go! We'll start with the foundation. They bear the biggest load.
Wow, numbers are powerful.
We use them to measure and build.
You'll need more Cowbell Choco to complete your mission.
To get up and go, give them Cowbell Choco.
Welcome back to the Cowbellpedia TV quiz show where young, brilliant minds battle for the ultimate crown. Now, we're still in the quarterfinals, and before the break, our junior secondary contestants secured their semi-final spots. But now it's time for the senior secondary category. All right, Cowbellpedia fam, let's turn up the energy as we welcome on stage our first 6 quarterfinalists. Welcome back, everyone. Good to see you again. For those who might not recall, please introduce yourselves again.
My name is Olajide. I'm from Milk International School, and I love programming. My name is Dile Silikognejo. I'm from Graceland International School, and I love reading novels.
My name is Carl David from the Ambassador's College, and I like writing.
My name is Fagwem Olaje Excellence. I'm from Abscon Ambassador College, and I'm a winner.
My name is Godsolo Samudiamen. I'm from Academy of Schools, and I like playing football.
My name is Gabriel Peace Elizabeth from Bibolu Academy, Ocean State. The Lord is my strength.
Welcome back, quarterfinalists. Well, it's time to set the stage for the first round, 60 seconds of fame. Now, 6 of you will step up. By the end of this round, one person's journey will come to an end. Just a reminder, this is how 60 seconds of fame works.
60 Seconds of Fame is a battle where every contestant is on their own. 6 contestants step into the spotlight, each with just 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. At the end of this round, the contestant with the lowest point will be eliminated, leaving 5 to continue their quest for victory.
Okay, let's play 60 Seconds of Fame. First up is Ireolua. Good luck, let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. Express 15 over 60 in its lowest form. That is correct. Next question, which of the following is irrational? A 0.25, B 0. That is correct. A body of mass 2 kg suspended from a spring of force constant 100. That is incorrect. If a square pyramid has 5 vertices, how many edges does it have? A6, B7, C8, D10.
D.
Says D, that is incorrect. The Yoruba name for the New Yam Festival is what? A, KG, D.
C.
That is incorrect. Which sentence contains a split infinitive? A, to greatly improve was his aim. That is incorrect. Who wrote the palm wine drink card? That is correct. Next question. What is the value of log 2a multiplied by log 8, 2? A1, B1 over 3, C3, B2 over 3. A capacitor stores 0.5 J of energy when charges to 100 volts. What is its capacitance? That is incorrect. 5 people, A, B, C, D, and that is incorrect. The Good Friday Agreement was related to peace in what? A, Cyprus, B, Northern Ireland. That is correct. Find the integral of X. That is incorrect. 40 points. Welcome back, Israel. Good luck. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. And your time starts now. If fx equals 2x plus 3, find f5. That is correct. If log 3, 2x minus 1 minus log 3x plus 2 equals 2, find the value of x. That is correct. The amount of solid present in 1 kilogram of a solvent is known as what? A molality. That is incorrect. 5 different novels are to be arranged on a shelf. In how many ways can this be done if 2 specific novels must be placed next to each other? That is incorrect. Which sport is Nigeria's most known for internationally? A, basketball, B, football, C, athletics. That is correct. Choose the word closest in meaning to ameliorate. A, worsen, B, improve. That is incorrect. Evaluate the square root of 16 plus the square root of 9. A, 5, B, 7. That is correct. The sum of 5 consecutive integers is 75. Find the largest of these integers. A, 17, B, 16. That is correct. Which of the following diseases is caused by a virus? A, cholera, B, typhoid, C, poliomyelitis. That is incorrect. How many faces does a dodecahedron have? That is correct. 60 points. Next up, Chine Merem. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. Simplify 2 over 3 divided by 5 over 9. A, 10 over 27. B, 6 over 15. C, 6 over 5. D, 2. That is correct. Next question. Express 27 raised to the power 2 over 3 as a whole number. A, 9. B, 18. That is correct. Next question. Which of the following is a primary alcohol? A, 2-propanol 2. That is incorrect. A shelf contains 6 mathematics books and 4 physics books. In how many ways can these books be arranged? If all mathematics books must be together. That is incorrect. Next question. The troubles refers to a conflict in a Cyprus. That is incorrect. Choose the correct word from the form of the verb. The committee dash divided on the issue. A is B, R. That is incorrect. The power of a lens is minus 2 diopters. What is the focal length? That is incorrect. Next question. In a class of 30 students, the average score? That is incorrect. Next question. Which of the following is not a vector-borne disease? A, malaria, B, dengue fever, C, yellow fever, D, that is correct. Next question. In a class of 40 students, the average score? That is incorrect. Next question. Which Nigerian boxer won the Commonwealth? That is incorrect. 30 points. Very well done. You don't look very happy with yourself, but you still have 3 contestants to play. So we'll find out at the end of this round if you've made it through to the semi-finals. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 3 more contestants will be on the podium playing 60 Seconds of Fame.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell with Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
Welcome back. Yes, we're here serving up the most intense quiz competition in Nigeria. It's Cowbell Pedia 2025, the Mega Minds. Now, 60 Seconds of Fame round is still rolling, and our next contestant is Elizabeth. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Okay. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. If sin theta equals to 3 over 5, and that is correct. Next question. If x equals 2 plus 3, that is incorrect. Next question. Which of the following is an example of a vestigial organ? That is incorrect. When looking at the cube from the front, you see a red face. That is incorrect. Next question. The Nigerian Premier Football League was... That is incorrect. Next question. Identify the correct sentence and say each of the students. That is incorrect. Next question. What is the sum of the series 5 plus 10 plus 20 plus 40 plus dash? That is correct. Next question. The locus of a point which moves such that is distance. That is incorrect. Next question. Which of the following is not a vector-borne disease? A, malaria. That is incorrect. Next question. 2 identical cubes with... That is correct. Next question. Which city serves as the judicial capital of Nigeria? That is incorrect. Next question. Find the equation of a circle with center at. That is correct. Next question. What is the median of the data? 5, 8, 2, 10. That is correct. Next question. What is the primary purpose of? That is incorrect. Next question. 50 points. Next up is Osamudiame. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. The pH of a buffer solution depends on what? A, the concentration of the acid only, B, the concentration of the salt only. That is correct. Give me a verbal response. Find the value of y in the equation 2y minus 3y plus 7 equals 22. A, y equals 15, B, y equals minus 15, C, y equals 5d. That is correct. Next question. If z1 equals 1 plus I and z2 equals 2 minus 3i, that is correct. Next question. A square dance has 4 couples with partners standing opposite each other if they randomly rearrange so that is correct. Next question. Which of these Nigeria's largest ethnic groups? A, Igbo, B, Yoruba, C, Hausa, Fulani, D, Ijo. That is correct. Choose the word closest in meaning to acerbic. That is incorrect. Next question. Solve the equation 2 raised to the power x plus 1 equals 32. Ax equals 4, bx equals 5. That is correct. Next question. What is the total number of squares in an 8x8 chessboard, including squares? That is correct. The common name for CH3COOH is A, formic acid. B, that is correct. If a cube has 8 vertices, how many diagonals? 80 cards. Next up is Ololade. Good luck. Let's have 60 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. In the Born-Haber cycle, the energy released when an electron is added to a gaseous atom. That is incorrect. Next question. Calculate minus 5. That is correct. Next question. If A is an n multiplied by an n matrix and B, that is incorrect. Next question. A rectangular garden measures 12 meters by 8 meters, a path of uniform. That is incorrect. Next question. The Taliban regime was overthrown in Afghanistan in A, 1999. That is incorrect. Next question. Choose the correct sentence. A, between you and I, the secret is safe. B, between you and me, the secret is safe. That is incorrect. Next question. A polygon has 12 sides. How many diagonals does it have? A, 54, B, 6. That is incorrect. Next question. A committee of 4 people is to be formed from a group of 7 men and 5 women. That is correct. Next question. What is a hybridization of nitrogen? That is correct. Next question. 8 horses are entered in a race and the top of top. That is correct. Next question. The Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency. That is incorrect. Find the integral of x. That is incorrect. 40 points. Congratulations. Very well played, Ololade. And with that, we have Osamu Diame with 80 points, Israel with 60 points, Elizabeth with 50 points, and then, of course, Ololade and Ireoluwa with 40 points. Unfortunately, sadly, we have to say goodbye to Chinere Mariam. Please put your hands together for him.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell with Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
Welcome back to Cowbellpedia 2025. The Mega Minds were still in the quarterfinal stage. Before the break, we wrapped up 60 Seconds of Fame, where one contestant took a bow. We're down to 5 now, but by the end of this round, another contestant will be saying goodbye. Now, this is where things get fast, they get intense, and very electrifying. It's time for questions from the Cowbellpedia Bank.
In this round, questions from the Cowbell Pedia Bank, 6 contestants play, carrying over their hard-earned points from the last round. The quizmaster will ask 12 questions, and the first contestant to hit the buzzer gets the chance to answer. A correct response earns 10 points, but a wrong answer costs 5 points from their total. At the end of this round, only 4 contestants will move on to the quarterfinals, while 2 will be eliminated. It is a game of precision and strategy. Only the sharpest will advance.
Good luck. Let's play questions from the Cowbellpedia Bank. Here are your questions. For a hyperbole with equation x squared over 16 minus y squared over 9 equals 1, find the eccentricity. A 4 over 3, B 5 over 3, C 5 over 4, D 4 over 5. right, let's go to the next question. The value of sine raised to the power 1 multiplied by 1 minus x squared dx is what? A 1 over 12, B 1 over 6, C 1 over 3, D 1 over 4. No one still? Remember, you have to build up your points. One of you will be leaving after this. Next question. The branch of science that deals with the study of the oceans is what? In meteorology, Israel?
C.
That is correct. Next question. Which comedy show features the character Professor John Bull? Ololade?
B.
That is correct. Next question. If the points HK, 3, 4, and 5, 2 are collinear, find the values of H and K. A, H minus K equals 7, B, H equals 6, K equals 1, C, H equals 4, K equals 13, D, H equals 2, K equals 5. Ireolua?
B.
That is incorrect. Next question. A parallelogram has a base of Ololade?
C.
That is correct. Next question. The process of which ATP is synthesized using the energy from the electron transfer chain is called what? Ololade?
A.
That is incorrect. Next question. The CAF Awards recognize achievement in what? A, music, B, football, Ireolua?
B.
That is correct. Next question. An unbiased die is thrown twice, Ireolua? Time is up. Next question. Find the derivative of fx equals Elizabeth?
B.
That is correct. Next question. Which of the following statements about enzymes is false? A, they are biological catalysts. B, Ireolua?
D.
That is correct. Next question. Which Nigerian artist sang African Queen? A, D'banj, B, Whiskey, C, Two-Face, Ololade?
D.
That is incorrect. Next question. That is a wrap. And that is it for questions from the Cowbell Pedia Bank. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. With 80 points, Osamu Diame. 70 points, Israel. Elizabeth with 60 points. And Ireolua with 55 points. Unfortunately, Ololade with 50 points. This is the end of the journey for him. Your hands together for Ololade. All right, the heat is on. We're about to step into the zone of power where the contestants are the ones calling the shots. Let's see how it works.
In this round called Zone of Power, each of our 4 contestants will take turns selecting a subject category, and a question will be assigned to one of their opponents. The host reads the question and the contestant has 20 seconds to answer. A correct answer earns 20 points, while an incorrect one deducts 10 points. At the end of this round, only 2 contestants will advance to the semi-finals, while the 2 lowest scorers will bid farewell to the competition.
All right, it's time to get into the game. The buzzers are set, but hold up. Let's keep the suspense sizzling a little because we're taking a quick break. So go grab a snack, sip on some cowbell, because when we return, it will be game time.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell with Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
Welcome back. This is Cowbellpedia, the Mega Minds, proudly brought to you by the nourishing, revitalizing Cowbell. Now, we're still in the quarterfinals, and right now we're going to play the Zone of Power. The tension is thick, and our first contestant is already on the podium, ready to battle it out. As you can see, the scores have been reset, and everybody's back to 0. Are we ready? Let's play the Zone of Power. And first in the Zone of Power is Ireolua. The whole idea is to pick a category that you think they might not be good at, okay? Let's see your 4 categories. Mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, strategy, and puzzle. What does Israel get?
General knowledge.
General knowledge for Israel. Here is your question. Which of these particles has a negative charge? A, proton, B, neutron, C, electron. The correct answer is C, electron. All right, general knowledge is out of the question. Now, mathematics, science, and computer, strategy, and puzzle. What does Elizabeth get?
Mathematics.
Mathematics for Elizabeth. Here's your question. The position vector of a point P is 2i plus 3j minus 4k. Find the distance of P from the YZ plane. A2, B3, C4, D5.
C.
Let's see what the correct answer is. A2. That's minus 10 points for Elizabeth. We have strategy and puzzle as well as science and computer. What does Osamu Diame get?
Science and computer.
Science and computer for Osamu Diame. Let's see your question. Which hormone is responsible for regulating calcium levels in the blood? A, insulin, B, thyroxine, C, calcitonin, D, testosterone.
C.
Let's see if you're correct. C, calcitonin. 20 points for Osamu Diame. Next up is Israel. All right, let's see the 4 categories: mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, strategy, and puzzle. What does Elizabeth get?
Puzzle and strategy.
Puzzle and strategy for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, this is your question. What 5-letter word becomes shorter when you add 2 letters to it? A, large, B, short, C, small, D,
B.
light. Let's see what the correct answer is. Correct. So strategy and puzzle is out of it. Mathematics, general knowledge, science and computer. What does Osamu Diame get?
Mathematics.
Mathematics for Osamu Diame. Let's see your question. Find the sum of this series. N equals 1 to 10, 3n squared minus 2n. Give me an answer. C?
Yes.
1650. The answer is A, 1055. Okay.
General knowledge.
You didn't even wait for me to ask. All right. Ireoluwa, general knowledge is what's been picked for you. Let's see if you get this one. Here is your question. The element used in nuclear power plants as fuel is typically what?
B.
Let's see what the correct answer is. B, uranium. Next in the zone of power is Elizabeth. Let's see the 4 categories: mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, strategy, and puzzle. First up is Osamu Diame. What do you get for him?
Science and computer.
Science and computer for Osamu Diame. In big O notation, which of these is the most efficient algorithm? A, O(n) square, B, O(n) log n, C, O(n) d O1. Let's see what the correct answer is. D, O1. Elizabeth, next up is Ireoluwa. What category does he get?
Mathematics.
Mathematics for Ireoluwa. Here is your question. Okay, if A and B are the roots of the equation x squared minus 6x plus 10 equals 0, find the value of a squared plus b squared.
D.
Let's see what the answer is. A16. We have general knowledge, strategy, and puzzle.
General knowledge.
General knowledge for Israel. All right, let's see his question. The Nigerian mathematician who derived the gut equation is who?
A.
Let's see what the correct answer is. Gabriel Oyibo, B. Put your hands together for Elizabeth. Next up in the zone of power is Osamu Diame. Let's see the 4 categories: mathematics, science and computer, general knowledge, strategy, and puzzle. Ireoluwa is your first.
Science and computer.
Science and computer for Ireoluwa. Let's see your question. Which sorting algorithm is based on the divide and conquer strategy?
A.
A. The correct answer is C. Next up is Israel. Mathematics, general knowledge, science and computer.
Mathematics.
Mathematics for Israel. Let's see the question. If PA equals 0.3, PB equals 0.5, and PA and B equals 0.2.
C.
Let's see what the correct answer is. 0.48. Elizabeth is here.
Strategy and puzzle.
Strategy and puzzle for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, are you ready? This is your question. What is always coming but never arrives? A tomorrow. What is the correct answer? A tomorrow. Okay, after playing the zone of power, Elizabeth is automatically through to the semifinals. Unfortunately, sadly, we have to say goodbye to Israel. Please put your hands together for Israel. But we need one more contestant to join Elizabeth. Ireoluwa and Osamu Diame are tied on 0 points, so that you know what they have to do? It's time for fastest fingers. Are you ready? Here's your question. Mustafa and Fatima start from the same point and walk in opposite directions. Mustafa walks at 3 kilometers per hour and Fatima walks at 4 kilometers per hour. How long will it take for them to be 21 kilometers apart? A, 2 hours, B, 2.5 hours, C, 3 hours, D, 3.5 hours. Lock in your answers now. C is the correct answer. Ladies and gentlemen, joining Elizabeth in the semifinals is Ireoluwa. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to Osamu Diame. Please put your hands together for him. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And that's a wrap on the Zone of Power. Our first 2 senior secondary contestants have officially booked their spots in the semifinals. Before we go any further, let me check in with the best co-host on television. Linda, what's happening?
So we're going to do our victory dance. I thought of something. So this one we cannot do. Hey, hey, hey. Like, you guys can sit down while we dance for you. Hey, hey. Oh, oh. I can see you doing like this. Elizabeth, not that. But that's okay. Hey. And you know what? After all this brain work, we need to refill. So let's say our goodbyes, okay? I think the quiz master has something for the Cowbellpedia fan watching from home. All right, bye.
Well, as always, I've got something special for you. If you're watching from home and you want to join in on all the fun, here's a chance with Home Play. Simply head over to the Cowbellpedia website, answer this week's Home Play questions, and you could win airtime and other amazing prizes. With that said, it is a wrap on the first quarterfinals of Cowbellpedia 2025. What a game we had. Obviously, these contestants came with the drive, the determination, and the brains, and that's a usual thing on Cowbellpedia. Massive shout out to our brilliant contestants. You guys show off too much. Seriously, stop making the rest of us look like we don't know book. All right, anyway, thanks for bringing us here on Cowbellpedia. A massive thank you to Cowbell. The over-nourishing, always creamy, always energizing food for the brain. In fact, I think I've earned myself a tall, chilled glass of Cowbell Choco because after a game like this, even my brain needs to recharge. So I'm going to go do that right now, guys. We'll be back with more geniuses and more epic wins in the next episode as the quarterfinals continue. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendu. Have a good day.